Joyful Christian Hermit. Just saw the ambulance pass. I had to go to an appointment this morning with arthritis center, and I was late because there's unpredictable traffic on this main road from my little town into the edge of the larger. And you just can never predict. Like we just passed another ambulance, but it's they have a very strict 10-minute policy, and there's just no way you can predict within 10 minutes when you're dealing with a very busy road and heavy traffic from not at this time in the morning, but usually there is in the high peak times. So it was okay. I mean, they rescheduled me till the end of December, so it wasn't anything crucial, believe me. But here I returned some things to Lowe's on the way back, and a man had just been hit in the parking lot right in front of me, a car in front of me. Well, the car was not in front of me, but I came in second after another vehicle who saw it happen. So I didn't stop since they had plenty of witnesses, but I turned in the parking lot to get around it. And it took quite a while for the ambulance to come, but I just passed them, the ambulance heading to Lowe's. But it's just a reminder to us, slow down, everyone, as far as in parking lots, store parking lots. People who are driving in the parking lots can have any number of distractions, non-intentional, and then people who are walking, leaving the store, busy looking in their bags to see if they have their receipt, or not looking each way because you think, oh, the cars are going to stop for me. Not necessarily. So this man got hit down near the garden center, and it took quite a while, but I'm sure the ambulance is there now, but I was in the store and out, in the return and out, and still the ambulance hadn't come. He was laid out in the drive of the store, entrance area coming in by the garden center, but the man could have been looking at his phone, and the driver, or that's why, you think, oh, somebody mentioned this is awful that I talk while I'm driving, but I'm not taking my eyes off anything, and still it's probably not the wisest thing. I don't know, but I just want to mention, be on the lookout. And if we're in our vehicles and other passengers are in our vehicles, we're talking. So I'm talking, even though it's actually better than having a passenger. I'm not looking at anything but the road, and I'm keeping alert because I have struggled with that if I don't have something active to do. But the man was crossing crossing from the store down a ways. But I've seen people do that, where they aren't near the entrance, but in the middle, and they cross over into the parking lot without watching for traffic and get hit. And then the driver, who knows what happened in the driver's aspect of hitting the person. It's just a small vehicle, older person. So I think, and I got to the arthritis place, and they had changed locations with no sign on the floor, on the hallway. So I had to go into another department to ask, where's the arthritis center now? Oh, it's down the hall and to the left. No sign in the lobby, in the floor. I got to the right floor as to where it was, so I had to walk into another asking. So, and then they said, well, you're late. They had a strict 10-minute policy. I think I was 4 or 5 minutes late by the time I went in and had to wait for somebody to tell me where it was, and then go down another hallway and find it. So, and I said, well, you know, on this road, it's the only road, people know it, north and south. I said, that's where I live. And I said, I can never predict the traffic, but I had to do a slow down and a stop and a wait because of an ambulance coming on my way there. So, police and ambulance. So lots of traffic, and I always get appointments at least a lower traffic time. So she wanted to reschedule me for 8:30 in the morning. I said, no, that's very high traffic. She says, well, it's always high traffic. I said, not always high traffic. I said, 10 o'clock's good. But I said I couldn't predict these things happening today to make me late. So I'll be on there 10 minutes. See, no barking. That's just a truck. Why are you barking so easily? Goodness sakes. She sees a dog. I should have known. A man was at the door with his dog. Stop it. That's enough now. That's enough. That's a worse distraction for me than anything. My dog's barking at anyone walking a dog anymore. They've gotten very verbal. So, back in my nice little town with our 20 mile per hour. So, some people don't do it, but police lurk, and I figure, why not? I try to obey, except I think I told you the one time I had my mind on my daughter's fiance had been in a bad accident in another part of the country, and she was here, and I was going to her home, and my mind was not on the speed limit. And this truck, Precious Blood, can really speed up without you even knowing. It has a lot of power. So I got pulled over. And there wasn't any traffic on the road or anything I was on, but I was speeding and didn't know it, didn't realize it. And the policeman said, I take mercy on people. He says, where's your mind on something else? And I said, oh yes, it was. And said, you know, that I had my concerns with my daughter's fiance and was heading to her to talk with her, be with her that morning. And so he took pity. Of course, I have no record, no tickets or anything ever in my life. So he ran my license and saw that. So I was glad, but I'm extra careful now. That was a good reminder. But now I'm reminded and reminding everyone, we cannot count on other people seeing us in parking lots or themselves not having some distraction in their vehicle or in the parking lot or glancing down at a receipt. Oh, did I get my receipt? You know, something like that, something simple. And somebody walking out in a no walking zone. These stores have walking areas. Usually they're right by the exits. So if you go down a ways and walk right out in a non-walking area where no one's expecting anyone to walk out, just step out into the drive of the main drive of the store, entrances and exit lanes, chances are you're going to get hit. So we have to be the ones looking out for others. It's always love of others, thinking of others. And inside, the person doing the returns said, oh, she said, you know, I get so tired of people. She says, one time a man, his dog jumped in his lap, and he suddenly sped up, and I wasn't expecting it. They were out driving just driving along a street, and she was in front of him. And I said, well, And she says, you know, if you have an unruly dog, you shouldn't have it in the car. And I said, well, things happen. Sudden startles. I said the person who was driving maybe didn't even have a dog, or maybe if it wasn't a dog, could have had a sudden arrhythmia in the heart, or you know, a sudden head pain or something that just upset him, or anything, you know, or accidentally hit the gas. So I said, you know, we always have to just be on guard ourselves and not automatically blame the other driver. So even if it is their fault at times, we have to be on the lookout. That's part of loving others, is to be aware of others and making sure that we are taking all precautions on behalf of others in the world. I see these people with lots of people here have remodeling going on, and people coming to do it for them, and I'm grateful they have the money, because it's how people earn their money. They can pay to do that. But, and I realize now I could take out a HELOC loan, but given the fact this is the first month in a long time I'm making it without having to sell off some of my parents' remaining investment, that's the remains of my inheritance. So I'm very grateful. Here's another. Now this house, it's sold, but I see they keep having work done on it. So I'm wondering, well, no, the sign is down now. They're moving in today, but they had a worker here the other day. So finally it closed, and we're getting a new neighbor, and that's good. Home again, home again. I am over halfway up the pillars now. In fact, I'd say over halfway up the total pillar. So that's good news for me. If my health holds out, I have learning not to count on that either, and take each day or even each hour as it comes just as well. Roll down the windows because it'll warm up in the afternoon. We're home puppies. Thanks be to God, and praying for the man who was hit and laying on the ground. The store people came out and had a pillow for his head, and maybe hit his head or his leg maybe. It looked like maybe he had got hit at the leg level. Probably it was a low to the ground, old, you know, not an older car, but a little red car, a little, you know, little tiny SUV. So, reminder to me to be extra careful when driving. And one reason I got this truck, and after the accident, my husband let me have the car that'd been in the accident and it wasn't fixed adequately, so that I had to get rid of very soon and lost lots of money on that. And thanks to him. He was so kind to give me that one. There's no sense in arguing with him after a point. But I got myself a heavy-duty Oldsmobile. I thought, if I'm in an accident again, I'm not going to be as hurt as when I was in that little Mazda. We had that little sporty Mazda. So then this truck is the best. It's not going much of anywhere, unless I would get rolled or something, but I never go anywhere that I'm going fast, so that's so I had to think of things like that. And it is worth thinking about. Plus, if you have a bad back, I will tell you this, trucks have seats that are made especially, usually for in the driver's side, for a man, heavy duty, well built, ergonomically built. The truck sits high up off the ground usually. I mean, if you get like this is a Silverado, even though it's used, 2008. It had very few miles when I got it 13 years ago. And 12 years ago it was. It's 12 and a half years since I got it, and it was a 2008 then. And I got it in early 2013. And I think it had 57,000 on it, and I have only 107 on it. And I had a lot of trips to the mainland in this truck to get supplies, and lots of trips to the dump in it. I demolitioned and took to the dump close to 8 tons of debris from the island house. So it's done its job, and many times over. And I think I maybe have mentioned, maybe I didn't, this first contractor I had, an island man, before I learned the hard way about the island workers and how much they charge and overcharge. He charged me $267 for a dump run. And so for a long time I didn't go to the dump. And my son-in-law said, well, it's, at the time, he's former son-in-law now, but he said, well, it's only $22 over here on the mainland to go to the dump. He said, you need to double check that. $267 sounds terrible. Well, I did. It was $24 on the island, a dump load. Up to, I think we could do up to 2,000 pounds a dump load. So I did 8 ton, nearly 8 ton. And if I had hired it done, think of the money that would have been. So I never hired the man again, and that's when I realized I would have to do my own work. But fortunately, I'd seen a truck on the ferry, Ojeda Construction, roofing, said, and construction, and the roof was shot when the inspector told me it was good, just fine, and this one back part had at least 10 years left on it. No, it didn't. It was shot. First big rain in November started the rainy season, and I was rained on at night and day. Rain coming through on me and through the walls. So the house was horrible. It's a tear down. And so fortunately I was able to I wrote the name down and the number and contacted him, and he came immediately. He had just come over to the island to try to work up some business. He was struggling on the mainland with so much competition that he decided he'd come to the island and see. And I needed a new roof immediately. I was his first person. And he told me that I had helped save his company, that he was in desperate shape. So he also helped with some siding, and he got the front porch, which was sagging, got that all jacked up and fixed. And because he pointed out, well, you don't want to do siding if your porch is hanging down. And I said, I guess I hadn't, the place was so dilapidated I hadn't noticed. Of course, the inspector never pointed that out. It was sagging terribly. So Raphael, what an angel he was. So very grateful to him, very grateful. And he helped off and on with things for me. So God is gracious, and people can be just so wonderful, so wonderful. Anyway, I'm praying for the man who got hit this morning. God bless you all. Mercy, say goodbye. You would never jump in my lap, would you? No, my doggies have seat belts that they wear. Seat belts. Talk to you later. Let's all be careful and aware of other people's needs, and their being watchful for others in traffic or walking or anything.